What's up, everybody? Mac the Z Ranger here, and I'm calling all Rangers, Riders, and Defenders of the Morphin Grid to welcome you all to Rangers Initiative. And today on the Rangers Initiative, I will be reviewing the latest episode of Power Rangers Dino Fury, Episode 2, Sporix Unleash. And just like my last review, I'm gonna be going over the good, the bad, and the more phenomenal. Yes, the more phenomenal part in this episode was amazing. But before we get into the review, as always, I want to point you guys out to that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, subscribe to this channel, and also click that notification bell so that way when I drop a video, you get it as soon as I put it out. Also, when you subscribe to my channel, you immediately become a Ranger of your choosing, because this is Rangers Initiative, where we bring all these Rangers together to talk about Power Rangers related things or content. But you know what? Let's get right into this review. Let's go. And just like my last review, I'm gonna start off with the good. And the first thing I wanna start off with that was good was the morphin sequence. I am so happy that they actually were practicing how to do the morphin sequence, because every Power Ranger iteration, all the way from Mighty Morphin all the way up until now, there never was a tutorial on how to do the morphin sequence. Like, how would they all know to do the exact same thing at the same time? Unless it was just like magic, and as soon as you get your powers, you just know. But I'm glad they actually showed that in this episode, and the morphin sequence was amazing. Well, at least the part, well, I'm not getting to that part yet, because I'm gonna say that part for the more phenomenal, but them training up to that part, I really did like that. Who else didn't like that? Seriously.
Put your hand down.
And also another thing was the teleportation. That was one thing that I really wish they had in Beast Morphers, was the teleportation, because the way they teleport, the whole thing comes up and the way it looks, the way it sounds, it just sounds so Power Rangers-esque. Like, I love it. And just going from all the way back to Mighty Morphin, to that teleportation till now, the way they teleport, it looks amazing. Trust me. And another thing I liked about this episode was the seriousness of it. And when I mean like the seriousness of it was, there's some high stakes going on right now in the Dino Fury world, because if they don't find all the Sporix, they're gonna hatch. And then on top of them hatching, if they say they get defeated, let's say they get defeated, right? The Sporix will return into like a larva form, or back to that whole larva form, and then when they hatch again, they're stronger than it was before. That's crazy, right? So I don't know how they're gonna find all of them, because it was a bunch of them in the very first episode, and now they only found 2, and it's still a lot more. So I'm really scared about what's gonna happen. And another great thing about this episode were the boost keys. Y'all can't tell me those weren't pretty cool, except for one, the whole stinky one. I was like, why? Why is that there? And it not only affects the monster, it affects them as well. Like, why would they need that? Seriously. But the other ones, I love them. And especially another reason why I love them, because this is so cool to see Rangers fighting big monsters as just Rangers without their Zords. I've been missing that a lot too in these other Power Ranger iterations, because I love that. I love seeing the Rangers going up against bigger monsters as Rangers without their Zords. That was just so cool, because you had the Pink Ranger, she had the, was it the gravity ball or the grabby ball? And she did it, and then his whole chain came on the monster and it made him fall down. Y'all seen it, that was pretty cool. And then the Blue Ranger had Hyper Boost, which caused him to actually hit the monster and hurt it for a little bit, but then he got smacked. But that whole part was just so cool, and I get to later on what was more phenomenal about that part. I don't know why I said more phenomenal like that, but you guys get what I'm saying.
Did you understand a single word of what he just said?
And going back to the seriousness of this episode, the Void Knight's plan to bring all the Sporix every time they get defeated back to Area 62, yes, Area 62, no 51, 62. I guess they abandoned that place, which I don't know why we would do that and leave it for somebody to get it, but yeah, he's in Area 62, and his plan to bring all the Sporix together after they're defeated, because they get stronger after they're defeated. That's another serious thing about this episode. Like, man, I'm telling you, there's some high stakes in this episode. I'm telling y'all. Also, the comedy in this episode was pretty on point. There was maybe one or two bad things about it, but I get to that in the bad. But the good things, like, you know, like Ali and Amelia's relationship, like when they were about to morph and Amelia was saying something and then he just interrupted her and said Power Rangers. She was like, hey, that's my line. That's pretty funny. That's Power Ranger-esque stuff, you know, and the other parts that were pretty funny, even with the monsters, those are pretty funny. But I'm gonna get to the bad part. You know what? Let's get to the bad part right now. Now, when I say bad, I don't mean it's really bad. It's just some things I didn't like about the episode. Like, for example, I didn't like the whole J-board thing. I know it's the whole cheesy Power Ranger comedy thing, but I don't really like that. I was like, okay, this is whatever. It's taking us away from the story. But I know they have to have it in there because, you know, kids watch it. But let's be real. Power Rangers now is for people like us. You know, adults watch Power Rangers. So that's the only part, that's one of the parts I didn't like. Oh yeah, the Ranger hotline. How's that gonna work? Explain that to me, because in order for the Ranger hotline to work, you gotta get a hotline, you gotta have a place where the hotline is gonna be received at, and also too, wouldn't some people know the Ranger's identity because you would have to talk to them? So, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I didn't like that part about it. That's about it, real talk. And those are the only two things that I thought were bad about this episode. Now, let's move on to the more phenomenal.
Here we go!
And the first thing I'm gonna start off with the more phenomenal is I'm gonna go back to the morphin sequence. Not the first one, the second one. Oh my goodness. Y'all see it back here. That morphin sequence has to be top 5. Best morphin sequence ever of all Power Rangers. Yes, I said it, top 5. You can't tell me the way it looked when they did the whole connect to the morphin grid, and then all this right here, just the way they transform, it looked more phenomenal. I'm not gonna say amazing because this is a more phenomenal segment. It was so more phenomenal. Oh my goodness. The second part that was just more phenomenal, the Zord fight. Oh my goodness. The T-Rex champion Zord was crazy. Y'all can't tell me you didn't like the fact that, hey, that the T-Rex came, did his thing, and then he was sitting there, he's like, hey, battle mode. Threw the thing and landed on it, changed it to battle mode. Then he goes inside, and then everything he does, the Zord does. Doesn't that remind you of Tommy when he was the White Ranger and he did the whole thing inside? That's what that reminded me of, but that whole part was just more phenomenal. I mean, there's no other words I can describe. Well, there are other words, but more phenomenal is the best one right now because that part was just, that was just so cool. And once again, more phenomenal. I'll probably say more phenomenal like 80 times already. Exaggerating, but you guys get what I'm saying. My goodness. I'm just loving Power Rangers Dino Fury right now. That second episode was better than the first one, and it just, like I said, it looks like it's gonna keep getting better and better and better. Hasbro, good job. And with this episode, I gotta give this real talk. Like, honestly, out of 5 lightning bolts, I gotta give it a 4.5. 4.5 lightning bolts. The only reason I'm getting 4.5 and not a 5, a full 5, is because the parts I didn't like. I mean, they were very, very small, but this was a 4.5 out of 5 lightning bolts. Yes, stamp it. That's what it was. And that's it with the good, the bad, and the more phenomenal. So I'm gonna move on to the next segment, which I actually forgot to put in my review last week, but you guys have seen this segment before in my Beast Morpher reviews and also in my Instagram, which you guys will find right here. But this segment I'm gonna reintroduce to Power Rangers Dino Fury, and that segment is the Ranger of the Week. And this week's Ranger of the Week was pretty super duper mega morphin easy for me to pick. And the only reason why is because what I just talked about in the more phenomenal. And the Ranger of the Week is Zato. Yes, the Red Ranger. He is Ranger of the Week because 1, he taught them how to morph. And that Zord fight. Amazing. Just simply amazing, cool, more phenomenal, whatever word, whatever adjective you guys want to use, that part was just amazing. And that's why Zato is this week's Ranger of the Week. Honestly, last week, I forgot it. And the reason why I forgot it because I couldn't decide on who I want to give it to. First, I want to give it to Amelia because her fight scenes was better than Ali's and Zato's fight scene last week. And that's when I want to give it to her. But I actually forgot to do it, so hey. So you guys got this week's Ranger of the Week, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, feel free to like, share, and that button right there. Go ahead and subscribe and click on the notification bell. Also, you see these videos right over there. Go and click those videos for more Power Ranger content I'm putting out every single week. And I know this is late again, but I got things going on in my life, so you guys may get it on Tuesday or Wednesdays, or Tuesday, Wednesdays, or Thursday sometimes, okay? But hey, remember, greater is he that is in me. I'm out. Peace. The Ranger Initiative has already begun. That Zord fight scene was more phenomenal. There it is again.